everybody, it's the Glauc. We are bringing our live show, Wife and Death, to Boston. We're coming to the Huntington Theater September 14th, just right around the corner. We cannot wait, especially because we're coming to Boston before it starts snowing.
Theoretically, yes.
Hopefully, it's going to be great. It's going to be great weather. Come on out. We can't wait to see you. Get tickets now, glaucomflecken.com/live. We'll see you there.
Knock, knock. Hi.
Welcome, everybody, to Knock Knock Hi. Knock Knock Hi is a topical medical podcast hosted by Will and Kristin Flannery, also known as the Glaucomfleckens.
What are we doing here?
I'm
Trying
practicing
something new?
my Medlines voice.
Oh, yes, your news anchor.
I'm getting into news anchorship.
Yes, because you needed one more thing to do. No, just kidding.
Hopefully, you guys have heard of Medlines. We launched a new podcast.
Yeah, medical
with human
news
content.
podcast.
Yep, it's like all the weekly, all the comings and goings.
Yes,
The
healthcare
current
news,
events,
current
all the
events.
stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of healthcare, pop culture.
But I get to practice like my anchor voice.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm still working on it. I don't know.
How does it feel?
It feels I'm getting used to it. It's you gotta like. I follow a couple people on TikTok and like they're like saying normal things, but in that newsy type of voice. Like I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it is that makes someone sound like that. I think it's the very strict pronunciation.
Yes, the diction.
It's the diction. And some of it's the cadence with which they speak.
And the tonal, like,
There was
ups
a
and downs.
hurricane that came through Wichita, Kansas. No, they wouldn't get a hurricane
No,
in Wichita.
that would be the last possible
came
place
through.
in this country to get it. It's like right in the middle.
You can't ad-lib news. Anyway, I'm still trying to sound.
We need merch that's like a hurricane over Wichita, Kansas.
Hurricane over Wichita. Who'd have thunk it? It's the news. It happened. Anyway.
No, but it didn't. Just to be clear.
So if people have recommendations for how I can sound more news anchorish.
Yeah, go
please
check
let us
out
know.
Medlines and tell us what you think of his anchor voice.
All right, so I've got a couple of topics I want to discuss with you. Something that people are talking about on social media, on TikTok. And then also I want you to teach me, or we're going to learn some more medical Spanish today.
Okay.
I promised the folks last week that we'd do some more medical Spanish. Okay, so let's start with Ozempic face. This is like the latest thing.
I've heard that term.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the natural cycle of any new thing that comes out is like, it's like, oh, amazing. And then, oh, it's, let's all make fun of it. Let's start making fun of it. So, this is not a medical term, Ozempic face.
No. That's an internet term.
That's a totally internet thing. Like no doctor would ever look at a page like, you know what, you are developing some Ozempic face. No, that would be
Diagnosis Ozempic
that would
face.
not be professional. That would be not a good thing to do.
Well, what is it? Because I hear it being talked about, but I've never actually paid attention to what it is. I assume it has to do with like weight loss.
Yes. So it describes the facial changes that people notice, while they're taking GLP-1 medications, like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and it's not caused by the medication directly. Right. This is the consequence of losing fat. Okay. So we all have like fat in our face.
Yeah.
Face fat.
Face fat.
You also have fat. Did you know this? You have fat behind your eye.
You told me that disturbing fact once.
Yeah, it's called orbital fat.
Yep. Love it.
So if you were to look back in that space, why does that freak you out? So what is like facial fat?
Anything about eyes.
So it's not so much the fat, it's just where the fat's located. You don't like the idea that you have fat behind your eye.
Yeah. Just anything about the eyes just makes me want to like squeeze my eyes shut.
You have fat below your eye. Does that bother you?
That doesn't bother me.
But behind the eye.
Behind the eye, because now you're in the cavity.
So it depends on the
orbital cavity.
Above the eye, beside the eye, none of that. It's behind the eye.
Behind the eye. In the eye would be a problem. Yeah.
Well, you got to think of it like insulation.
It makes sense. I just
Because you got all these blood vessels and nerves back that go behind the
it's
eye,
an important spot.
and you gotta fill the rest of
Your
that
eye also has
space.
gotta move sometimes, right? Like,
Yeah, so it's
so you
squishy.
don't want it to, like, bang against the back. There's a little
Yeah,
fat pad.
you got a little fat squishiness back there.
Yeah.
Sometimes that fat, though, can start migrating forward. Did you know that?
Where does it
It's called
go?
orbital fat prolapse.
But where? Your eyeball is forward.
So what'll happen is if you lift up your eyelid, sometimes you can see it plop
Why do
down.
I ask? Ah! Ugh, I might barf.
Also, you can start getting it like bags, like a
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
the
Yeah, I've seen the eye bags.
yeah, well, eye bags, a lot of times that's like orbital fat that's kinda starting to
Oh,
your tissues are relaxing, and so you're getting
yeah.
some fat that comes forward. And then, fat can get you can, like, store water. You can get, like
Mhm.
it can get bigger and smaller based on, if you're laying down, like, all
Right.
night, you wake up,
Yeah, and your eyes are all puffy.
everything's puffy. It's 'cause the orbital fat's, like, a little bit more swollen. So, anyway, that fat just starts to migrate forward, and you start seeing it sometimes. Not
I
for
don't
everyone.
like that fact.
So
I don't like that one.
well, there's a surgery. They can do, like, a lower lid blepharoplasty.
Why are we still talking about all this?
We're getting because we're talking about
Oh
Ozempic
my
face.
gosh. Well, now you're talking about eye surgery.
Well,
I don't think that's part of
it's all
Ozempic
related.
face.
It's all related. So, yeah, the lower the kind of the bags, the fat that comes in the lower eyelid down there,
Mhm.
when you do a lower lid blepharoplasty,
I wish this were spiked.
often what that means is basically you're pulling out fat from all the 3 little different segments
Cool.
of the fat pad. So you got the middle fat pad, you got the inside fat pad, the outside fat pad.
Neat.
I've never done that kind of I used to do upper lid blepharoplasties. Do you remember that? Remember that when I used to do eyelid surgeries? Did I
Eh?
ever tell you about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd take out some of the fat
Now
you
you're
get up
just
there.
doing this to mess with me.
No, because sometimes and this actually gets to the reason I'm bringing this up,
Please do.
that when you start, like, removing tissue,
Mhm.
whether it's, like, weight loss
Yeah.
or skin, it just the proportions get a little bit off.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever I would do a blepharoplasty where I remove excess skin from
Mhm.
above the eye, from the eyelid, you also had to take out a little bit of orbital fat at the same time. You make a little
Mhm.
deeper incision on the inside corner by the nose, and you just tease out any of the extra fat that's in there.
Are
And
you trying to make me have a vasovagal reaction?
the reason you do that is so that it remains nice and
I'm
flat.
about to walk out of this room. Okay.
So, let's go back to Ozempic face now.
Please.
Um, so what happens is when you lose a large amount of weight
Yeah.
fairly quickly, the rest of your tissue doesn't have the ability to kinda change with the fat loss.
Well, that is a question I have. If you lose a lot of weight not quickly, does this not happen?
Not as much. I mean, you still see, like, people who are, like, morbidly obese, like,
Yeah.
they lose a lot of fat, a lot of weight loss, like, very quickly. They'll have excess skin because the
Yes.
skin, although it can, like, kinda contract and, like,
Mhm.
follow the weight loss, it's if there's a lot of it, if there's enough weight loss, like, the skin's not gonna be able to kind of form
Yeah.
normally. And so you'll have, sagging skin, loose
Mm,
skin.
right.
But what we're seeing it is because the Ozempic, these types of medications, you're losing fat everywhere. So it's not just like you're losing belly fat
Mhm.
or fat in your arms or legs.
Right.
You're losing it in the face too. And so if you lose your fat pads, which are that you have in your cheeks,
Mhm.
then you'll get more like hollow, sunken cheek
Right.
appearance, more prominent cheekbones.
Which,
Some people
for the
call
record, I do not have Ozempic face. This is just my face.
yeah, you've never been on Ozempic, yeah, it's just you're just born that way
Yeah.
with the jawline.
And the cheekbones and the
Yeah.
like I whatever. Anyway,
You're saying you have not been looks maxing?
I have not.
You're not a looks maxing influencer?
No.
So
I'm a comfort maxing. kind of person.
But anyway, that's what you can get. Like you get more prominent jawline, some sunken cheeks because you're losing the fat here.
Yeah.
Um, things get a little bit more hollow because it talked about the fat. So you're
Yeah.
losing orbital fat as well. So your eyes can be a little bit more sunken in.
Where does it go?
Where does the fat go?
Yeah.
You metabolizes it. Your body uses it.
Huh. But that's Ozempic, not.
Well, it's any kind
Sorry,
of.
I realized in my head I hadn't said something out loud, which is I was thinking that these are like similar to changes with aging.
It can be. We do see that sometimes in some people. Yeah. Yeah. I would say so. You
But
see
then
it
in
in
those
aging.
cases, I don't think your body's metabolizing anything.
No,
It's just
and
like
well, I think
shifting
that
its position.
well, that also happens much more gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, and so people are talking about on social media about Ozempic face, which is not a term I think we honestly should be using.
It's rather
Not, it's
derogatory.
pretty awful. So we're gonna stop saying it now.
Yeah.
But anyway, just so people know, like that's people are talking about that, and I think the bigger thing is like there's just going to be a lot of unintended consequences
Right.
and changes that we did not expect as more people are on these medications, GLP-1s, for
Right.
more years.
Yeah. Well, there have already been changes we didn't expect. Some of them were positive, right? Like GLP-1s seem to have an effect on other kinds of things too, not
Right.
just weight loss.
Correct.
And then some of them are unknown or negative.
Yep. Like in ophthalmology, now we have a new reason that people can get ischemic optic neuropathies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ischemic optic. So lack of blood flow causing
To the
nerve
optic nerve.
damage.
Yep. To the optic
Okay.
nerve. So we now know that there's an association between people taking it. It's a very, very low risk. So I don't want people to like be freaked out like they shouldn't be taking these medications because there's so many benefits of GLP-1s
Yeah.
and
As
glucose
always, we
and
are not your doctor, especially me.
don't this
Speak
is
to
not
your
medical
own
advice, but now we do see the field of ophthalmology considers GLP-1s to be a risk factor
Right.
for developing ischemic optic neuropathy,
Mhm.
which by itself is an extremely uncommon thing.
Right.
But it is just like diabetes is a risk factor for that disease, for hypertension, any kind of vascular issue that you have is a risk factor for developing ischemic optic neuropathy. It basically means you just temporarily lose blood flow to just a small section of your optic nerve that can cause fairly severe, but often less kind of middle amount of vision loss. So instead of going from 20/20 down to like you can't see light,
Right.
it's more like maybe 20/20 down to like 20/40 or 20/50. So you have a small to moderate amount of vision loss. Still not a great disease. Obviously, you don't want that,
Yeah.
but we're seeing it sometimes. Very, very rarely.
Is it increasing the instances of it, or is it just if you were probably gonna get it anyway, GLP-1s make it more likely?
No, I think it's somehow the mechanism it puts stress on the vasculature around the nerve. I don't know if we know the exact mechanism for why this is happening, but it's irrespective of any other factors going on. So,
Interesting.
but again, very rare.
Do they have any positive
On the eyes?
effects of the eye? Yeah.
I'm not aware of any, but who knows?
Yeah. You don't lose your
They
orbital
might.
fat?
You don't. You don't lose your orbital fat.
Well, why not?
I don't. Are you have like a? Do you wish you didn't have any of that fat back there? Is
Kind
just
of.
the presence of the fat bothering you? You would
If I don't have to think about it, it doesn't bother me, but as
if
soon
you
as you
had
point it out.
if you had no orbital fat, you would look ghoulish.
Right, because your eyes would be sunken in.
Like what's the Encanto? What's the name? The skeleton guy in
Oh
Encanto?
gosh, what is his name? I don't know. I don't
You know what I'm
remember.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, that's kind of what you'd look like.
Mhm.
Because you got.
You think that's what's wrong with Milo?
Oh, our dog with no. I think he's just too inbred. but the orbital fat is it props up.
Yeah.
It fills the space.
I get it. I understand.
It's so important.
I
Kristin.
understand it. I'm an intelligent person that speaks
So
the language you're speaking.
All right, that's enough about Ozempic. Okay. Oh, one more thing before we take a break. I took, you were out of town, but I took our kids to see Cake.
I know. It hurt me to miss that.
The band Cake. I didn't take them to see a cake.
A cake. Just look at it, kids.
We didn't go to
Isn't it pretty? You
our
can't
local
have
bakery and just watching cakes. No, we went to see the band Cake, who I've been a fan of Cake for,
forever.
Yeah, I mean, so many great hits. And fortunately, they were into it. They love Short Skirt, Long Jacket.
Yep.
Right. So when they played that song, they lost
Went nuts.
They just dancing. The whole crowd. It was a great crowd.
Yeah. Everybody's favorite song.
It was an outdoor venue, and I had a comfortable lawn chair, which is great. But the reason I want to bring this up is because our oldest daughter and her friend who came with us, they have some street cred amongst the over 50 crowd.
Oh, because that's exactly what they're interested in getting.
Well, I think so. They got some major props because Cake did a cover of War Pigs, which is a Black Sabbath song, and my daughter, our daughter, our daughter,
pretty
and
sure
her
I
friend,
cooked her up.
which this actually took me by surprise too, because although I had introduced her to some like classic rock type stuff,
yeah,
I didn't realize she was like paying that close attention to some of the bigger hits.
Our kids have pretty cool taste in music, I will say. They're like 90s alternative kids, especially the older one.
Yeah. Younger one is a little bit more into like the
pop and stuff.
Like pop and what's the Cat's Eye?
Yeah.
The K-pop group?
Yep.
So she's
big into that now.
She's more into...
She's into that and the 90s alternative. Whereas the 14-year-old is like, pop is stupid. She's got the cool teenage thing going on.
Yeah. She's super kind of grunge type of kid.
Grunge kid. Grunge kid.
But Cake started playing War Pigs.
Yeah.
And our 14-year-old and her friend both were screaming the lyrics. Nobody else was.
Yeah.
They were so excited to hear this Black Sabbath song.
Yeah.
And there were a couple, because we're getting to the age now with bands like Cake, who were big in like the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, their fans are like
up there,
40s.
Yeah, that's
and
us.
50s. I know, that's what I'm saying. And so when you go to concerts like this, often, and we're not like in the pit area. Like,
no,
we're at a place where we could sit down.
Yeah, we've moved into that section of the crowd.
But there were like a handful of people, I would say, in their 50s and 60s, who kind of looked back and like give like a all right. And they had a couple of people came up to him and be like, yeah, I'm impressed. You know that. I mean, it's like 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Who are singing Black Sabbath. So it was a proud dad. I was like, I think
if I've done nothing else,
at least I've indoctrinated my kids to loving music that puts them out of touch with the rest of their peers. I can at least say
because we aren't different enough
I've accomplished
already.
That
we had to give them. Everybody's got to go to therapy for something,
I have no regrets whatsoever. All right, let's take a quick break. Hey, Kristin.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into the summer months.
Yeah.
All right, I want to tell you something that I've been hearing about from patients.
Okay.
So everybody's using lots of fans and air conditioning, which can lead to dry, irritated eyes.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a chance that those symptoms could be something else entirely.
Oh, I know the answer to this one.
All right, let's hear it.
It could be Demodex blepharitis.
Yes. Oh, you're learning so much about eyeballs. I love it. Actually, there was a study that showed about 60% of patients treated for dry eye also had Demodex blepharitis.
That is a lot.
And the symptoms like itchy, red, irritated eyelids, they're similar, so it can be confusing. Ask your eye doctor to check for those little tiny collarettes on the lashes.
Oh, those crusties at the base of the eyelashes.
Exactly. And the good news is that there's a prescription eye drop available for Demodex blepharitis. To learn more about Demodex blepharitis, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. Hey, Kristin, can I tell you about my new favorite thing?
Yeah.
Henson shaving.
Okay, tell me more.
Look at this razor.
It's beautiful.
First of all, it's a nice looking razor. It's aluminum. All the razors I've used previously, they're not great.
Yeah.
I don't they move around so much. It gives you like weird cutting angles where I can't. Some parts of my face are longer than others.
Right.
I kind of need to look professional. I'm seeing patients. I got to look like I know what I'm doing with a razor, right?
Sure.
And also, like all the blades, like 3 or 4 blades sometimes with these razors. And it just irritates my skin. I get bumps and
why do you need that many?
It's just, I don't like it. And so what Henson Shaving has done is they hired aerospace machinists.
Okay.
Aerospace machinists.
That's fancy.
To come up with this design. It's a single blade that cuts correctly and predictably every single time.
Oh, because it doesn't move.
It doesn't move. Look how stable this thing is.
Yeah.
It doesn't move. And that's what you want. And it's a single blade. I just need one blade to cut the hair.
Right. That'll do it.
Any other blade is just going to go across the skin. I just need one blade, right? And you don't have to put any pressure. It cuts nice and evenly. What more could you ask for from a razor?
Yeah.
To find out more, go to hensonshaving.com/knock-knock-hi. Again, that's HENSON shaving.com and use code knock-knock-hi to receive 100 blades for free with the purchase of a razor. All right, we're back, and we're going to spend the next 10 minutes talking medical Spanish.
Hey, you need to give the same disclaimer you did last time for those who have not heard it.
What was my disclaimer? Oh, that I have never taken any formal Spanish class, and I don't understand no pronunciation other than what I heard on the Telemundo channel during the World Cup.
And you grew up in Texas, and the only time I ever hear your Texas accent is when you try to speak Spanish. You have like the gringo accent.
I know you would think, oh, well, you grew up in Texas. Why? Of course you didn't learn Spanish. No, I learned German. I learned.
Yeah, and you lived in like a suburb. So
yeah. So anyway, the point is, it's not. I don't know. So I'm not. When I get pronunciation wrong, it's like I'm literally trying.
Yeah.
I'm very much trying. I'm not making a joke. So it's just I'm trying. And I need to learn medical Spanish because we're opening up a practice in a very heavy Spanish-speaking community, and it's just going to be good for the practice, for my patients, my future patients, for me to learn as much medical Spanish as possible, which we're going to do on the podcast.
Yay!
So I had a wonderful listener named Gabe Padilla, who was very kind to send me basically kind of like the idea is like, this is the basics of what you need to know as an ophthalmologist.
This is Ophthalmology Spanish for Dummies. It's like a high level.
Yep.
These are the common terms you're going to need.
So here we go. So what we're going to do, I'm going to say some of these to you, and I want you looking at the screen. And you're going to answer.
Answer.
Yeah.
Or
not even answer, just
try to guess.
Yeah, tell it. Yeah, that's it. You're going to guess.
Okay.
Because Kristin, although she's not a fluent Spanish speaker, she did major in Spanish.
I do have a Spanish degree.
She has a degree in the language of Spanish.
That I earned in 2008.
So
and then we promptly moved to New Hampshire and stayed up north for the rest of my life. So I didn't really get to use it, is what I'm saying. And if you don't use it, you lose it.
Okay, here we go. Mire hacia adelante.
Say it again.
Mire hacia adelante.
Look toward the... I always get front and back mixed up.
I don't usually tell people to look back.
True.
It's not typically something.
Take your eyes without moving your head. Just look backwards.
Look backwards.
Okay, so look to the front.
Look straight ahead, yes. Cubra su ojo derecho.
Close your right eye.
Cover your right eye, yeah. Or tape, cubra, tape. All right. Never mind.
I was like,
Never
I
mind.
don't know that word.
Never mind. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Lea la línea más pequeña que pueda ver.
What's the smallest line you can see?
Yeah, nice. Nice. Okay.
There were all sorts of pronunciation errors there, just so you know. You got to work on that
Well,
one.
you say it then. There it is.
Lea la línea más pequeña que puede ver.
That's basically, I just said it just very slowly. That's all.
Yeah.
I did that. Okay.
You said pequeña.
What is it? Pequeña?
Yeah.
Pequeña.
Yes.
You don't pronounce the qu.
No.
There's no qu.
No.
But cuando?
That's CU.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
QU is like our K.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I'm with you. See, I'm learning so much doing this. Okay. ¿Cuántos dedos ve aquí?
How many what do you see?
¿Cuántos dedos? ¿Dedos?
Oh, how many fingers?
Yeah. How many fingers
How many
do you
fingers
see?
here? Yeah.
Right. Ooh. ¿Cuál se ve más claro? ¿El número uno?
I knew you were going to say that.
O el número dos?
Which one is clearer? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 3 or 2?
¿Se ven iguales o diferentes?
Do these look the same or different?
Yeah. See, like, so I've figured out, because right now I have like maybe 1 or 2 patients a day that come in and their primary language is Spanish. And so I hear them talking with the interpreter, and I can kind of, Spanish is like, I don't know, it's like, I think it's an accessible language to English. Like
There's a lot of, what do you call that? Like conjugates and similar grammar.
Yeah.
You know, not identical, but similar.
I can kind of get it. With some of the statements I hear patients say like over and over again, like I can't speak it. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, but I can kind of like, oh, I think I know what you're talking about, just because some of the structure in the words.
Yeah, there's a lot of words that are basically the same word, just pronounced.
Cognates.
Yeah. What did I say?
Isn't that what you like? That's like,
I think that's what
2
I said.
words that are like kind of the same in different languages.
Yes, like tape and tape, for example.
Okay. All right. This might be a little more challenging for you and me. Okay. Panga la barbilla aquí la frente contra la barra.
It's really hard to understand what you said.
Panga la
Okay, hold on.
barbilla.
This is going to bug me. O is O. Always.
Oh. Panga.
Nope.
Oh, ponga.
There you go.
Okay. Ponga la barbilla aquí y la frente contra la barra.
Put the something here and in front of something else.
Barbilla.
I don't know that word.
Chin.
Okay.
Your chin. Put your chin and forehead against the bar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You do say that.
Mira a mi oreja.
Yeah, look at my ear.
Mantenga la cabeza pegada a la barra.
Put your head against the bar.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I say this. This is so like, Gabe, you did such a good job, because like I say all these things. So I don't know if Gabe.
Yeah, we don't have any information on Gabe.
Yeah, it's just a cheat sheet. So
this is a great cheat sheet. Yeah.
Longtime listener. Oh, he's a Jonathan. Oh, that's why. That's why he knows. He hears this all the time.
He probably has to say these things.
All right, I'll do a couple more. How do you do the TR?
The same.
Tra?
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Okay.
I can't think of any.
Like I feel very white when I say trate.
Trate.
Trate de no parpadear un momento.
Say it again.
Trate. Trate de no parpadear.
I don't I can't tell what words you're saying. Like, I can't tell where one word ends and what the next one starts.
Trate de no.
Those are 3 words.
Those are 3 words. And
Okay.
the next thing I'm going to say is 1 word.
Okay.
Parpadear.
Okay.
Un momento.
I don't know that one.
Blink.
All that for blink?
Parpadear.
Oh, that one word is blink.
So it's try not to blink for a moment.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. This is I know this one. Mira bajo, mira arriba.
Look down, look up.
Mira. Oh, you don't just say mira derecha, you say mira
a la
derecha.
Yes, that has always bothered me. That you
really?
leave that out.
Oh no, because I usually do say that to patients.
Well, you're white. They get it.
Wait, what's the difference? Why can't I say mira derecha versus mira a la derecha?
Well, I'm not a native speaker, so maybe somebody knows better than me, but it just is not what you say. Because in English, you could say, look right, look left. I get that makes sense, but I don't think you say that in Spanish. I think it's look to the right, look to the left.
So that's what a la is.
Yeah.
To the, okay.
In that case,
okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. This is good. Maybe we'll stop after this one because we got a lot more. This will take us a few weeks to get through this. Okay. Va a sentir un pequeño soplo de aire.
Oh, you're going to feel a little puff of air.
Yeah. Puff of air. Soplo de aire? Soplo? Is that puff?
That's the one word in that I'd never heard before.
But you got it with everything else I said.
Context.
Okay. Actually, okay, we'll do one more. This is a really long one, so I'm going to do my best.
Goodness.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
All right. Esta luz va a tocar suavemente su ojo, comma.
Okay, say it again.
So, esta luz va a...
Say the first word. What letter does it end in? What are you saying there?
Esta.
Okay.
Luz.
This light.
Va a.
Is going to.
Tocar suavemente su ojo.
Touch your eye gently. Or some such thing.
Pero.
But.
No dolera.
Won't hurt.
And then in parentheses. Usaremos gotas para adormecario. So sorry.
We use this to...
All right, that last part in the parentheses. Because you got the first part. It's like, this will gently touch your eye, but it won't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then parentheses. Usaremos gotas para adormecario. Miserio.
Okay, again, I can't tell how many words you're saying.
We will use numbing drops.
Oh, yeah, I would not have known that.
All right. I'm exhausted. Learning a language is hard work.
Oh.
So I just need to see, this is going to help me I could say the things, but I can't. Maybe eventually I can learn how to
I can help you
understand
with pronunciation. It's just
I just don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah. It might take a while.
But I will say, anytime I've tried to speak Spanish to my patients.
Yeah.
They're very nice about it.
Yeah, people are not dumb. They can tell what you're trying to say, even if you're not, as long as you're close enough.
True.
I mean, think about it the other way around. If there's someone who's not a native English speaker, but they get enough words in there, you can figure out what they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I just insert ojo, every now and then. and a direction. I will say, I love the word izquierda.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's good words.
Yeah.
I also like that, what was it? Suavemente?
Suavemente?
Yeah, that's a fun word.
Yeah.
What was that? What did that one mean again?
Gently in that context.
Oh, gently. I like that. Suavemente. I might just put that into my English sentences.
Don't do that.
Can you do that?
No.
Is that the sound? Pequeña is also fun to say. Oh, what's the difference? Pequeña and pequeño.
It's just genders. You know how other languages have nouns are gendered?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, German has that.
Yeah.
They're like 3 genders.
I wonder why English doesn't. Like all the other languages that are like related to English.
Yeah.
A lot of them have gendered nouns, but somehow English was like, no.
All right, that was your Glauc and Flecken medical Spanish of the day. I swear, people should be getting CME for the. Actually, how would you say it in Spanish? Say, M-A?
Mm-hmm. M-A, I think.
Is that?
Now you're putting me on the spot. My mind goes blank.
What's your alphabet?
Do people want to listen to this?
It's the end of the podcast.
We're saying the alphabet.
Only the truthers, only the hardcore people have stuck around this far.
Oh my goodness!
Right,
I think we need to.
Forget it. We'll move on. All right, until next week, you shove more medical Spanish down your throat. All right, let us know how offended you are by what I just did. Email us, knocknockhi@human-content.com. Visit us on our social media platforms. Also, if you think there's a better way for me to learn medical Spanish other than for 10 minutes once a week on a podcast, please let me know.
I bet you could we were just talking about taking acting classes recently. You could probably take a Spanish class.
Thanks to all the great listeners leaving feedback and reviews. If you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube, we can give you a shout out. Like @Julia Benford 6500 on YouTube said, I guess you would need a guest to come on the pod who has studied the actual pros and cons of unions. Be good. I totally support smart ways to cope with big equity healthcare. So I've talked a lot about, what people can do to protect themselves.
Right.
And I personally think that as more and more physicians are becoming employed, we're just going to see more unionization efforts.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of ways that we can protect ourselves, our profession, and also our patients. So anyway.
But maybe this person disagrees. Sounds like maybe.
No, I totally support smart ways to cope with big equity healthcare. So I think what Julia is saying here is
actual pros and cons of unions.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful to have someone who can
definitely.
have just give it to us straight, what are, because it's easy you hear a lot of people talking about, unions are great. Yeah, just go pro union. Let's go.
Right.
But I mean, and I've heard some downsides to it, but it'd be good to have just a truthful conversation about okay, well, if you do this, this is what could happen. This is the good things, these are the bad things.
Also be interesting to know within the larger context of unions in this country in 2026, because there's that whole
unionization may mean something different now than they did 20 years ago.
Yeah, and what is the future of unionization? Which direction does it seem like we're going? And it's healthcare unionizing is one small part of a much larger unionization conversation.
So I'm not sure what type of person in terms of their profession would
lawyer?
Kind of give a straight down the middle view on unions. Maybe are there unionization lawyers? Is that a thing?
I assume so.
Help us out, folks.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to be bringing.
We should have asked Sharon McMahon on that episode. She would have been a good one to ask.
True. Anyway, full video episodes are up every week on our YouTube channel @Glauc and Fleckens. We also have a Patreon. Lots of cool perks over there. Bonus episodes, fun, little extra things that we do.
Yeah.
We're reacting to medical shows and movies, early ad-free episode access, patreon.com/Glauc and Flecken, or go to glaucandflecken.com. Patreon community perks. Let's do a shout out to the Jonathans. Lucia C., Edward K., Marion W., Mr. Granddaddy, Caitlin C., Brianna L., MP Cole, Tracy B., Mary H., Keith G., Parker Muhammad L., David H., Kaylee A., Kaylee A., then Gabe, Gary M., Eric B., Marlene S., Scott M., Kelsey M., Sean, Dr. Hoover, Sean M., Ryan N., Jess K., Hawkeye MD, Bubbly Salt, and Shawnee D. And Patreon roulette time. Random shout out to some of the emergency medicine here. Shout out to Tarika R. for being a patron. Thank you. And thank you all for listening. We're your hosts, Will and Kristin Flannery, the Glauc and Fleckens. Our executive producers are Will Flannery, Kristin Flannery, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Burke. Our editor and engineer is Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omer Bensby. To learn about Knock Knock Hi's program disclaimer and ethics policy, submission verification and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, go to glaucandflecken.com or reach out to us, knocknockhi@human-content.com. with questions, concerns, or fun medical puns. Knock Knock Hi is a human content production.
Knock, knock, goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.